7 Grammys, 30 million albums and counting, and more breakup stories than she would probably like. That's Taylor Swift, and the numbers only tell part of her story.
Her talent was so obvious, her parents moved the family to Nashville when Taylor was only 14. Her first album established her as a country music star. The latest, 1989, crosses over into pop, cementing her world domination.
The album's called 1989. It's got a real pop vibe to it. Are there influences you can cite or anything that you were thinking about while you were making this record, just as far as the sound?
Absolutely. I definitely did have a goal for this album, and that was for it to be sonically cohesive, which for me meant that it had a distinct sound to it. I want for my fans to hear a song from this record and know that it doesn't belong on any other one of my albums, that it solely belongs on this one. And one of the huge influences on the sound of this album was late 80s pop, like Peter Gabriel and Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics and, you know, Madonna, Like a Prayer, and Fine Young Cannibals, She Drives Me Crazy. Like songs like that that were taking such risks at that time, production-wise. They were trying out all kinds of different production styles and drum sounds and vocal sampling. I love it.
It's interesting that you say that when you're talking about someone who takes risks and was developing new things. When I was reading different things about you, New York Magazine said that your nearest antecedent might be 60s era Brian Wilson, as far as just getting to the heart of your generation of people in a way that no one else could. Do you feel like that's true, or do you even ever feel like a prodigy in some way?
I feel like that quote is the coolest thing I've heard in a really long time, and I forgot that that was in that article. Brian Wilson is one of my heroes, to the point where when I was growing up, that was the first music I think I heard from my parents. They raised me on Beach Boys music, so that's an amazing compliment. I think that as far as songwriting goes, I've been essentially opening up my diary for the world to read since I was 16. So that's an interesting kind of vulnerability to have when you are telling your life story and revealing your life narrative and all the feelings you had about those things happening to you to people who are going to understand it and see your side of it and kind of see, look at what you're saying and say, I get that, I feel that too. But you're also revealing your life and your true emotions to people who just kind of want to take you down and make fun of you.
Like, oh my God, who is she? I get drunk on jealousy, but you'll come back each time you leave, 'cause darling, I'm a nightmare dressed like a daydream. So it's gonna be
The song that has everyone talking is Blank Space. It pokes fun at Taylor's own media image, portraying her as a nightmare, man-eating girlfriend.
got a long list of ex-lovers. They'll tell you I'm insane, 'cause you know I love the players and you love the game.
Is this song meant to address all of the stereotypes, all of the sort of trashy magazine images of you?
Absolutely. The song, I started it as a joke. Honestly, I was kind of looking at this whole fictionalized version of my life that the media has portrayed, because I don't talk about my personal life, so they've kind of had to make one up for me. And I guess in the last couple of years, the story has been that I'm like a serial dater, and I like have all these boyfriends, and we're traveling around the world, and everything's great until I get over emotional and crazy and obsessive, and then they leave, and I'm devastated, and then I write songs to get emotional revenge because I'm psychotic. And you know, that character, if you think about it, if that's actually how I was, such a complex, interesting character to write from the perspective of. So I was kind of like, I could write a song from her perspective and see how it would turn out. And I all of a sudden started having so much fun writing these like zingers and one-liners that it ended up being one of the funniest songs on the record, and one of the songs that people actually gravitate towards, because it's kind of like, if you make the joke first and you make the joke better, then it's kind of like it's not as funny when other people call you a name.
Next, Style.
You got that long hair slaying back, white t-shirt
describe a guy that has a James Dean look in his eye, long hair, slick back, white T-shirt. You date, you break up, you date again. Is this autobiographical?
The song is actually about kind of like those relationships that are never really done. You know, you always kind of have that person, that one person who you feel like might interrupt your wedding and be like, don't do it because we're not over yet. I think everybody has that one person who kind of floats in and out of their life and is never, like the narrative's never truly over.
Do you have that person?
Like I said, everybody has that person who they kind of float in and out of your life. And I was comparing that to trends in fashion and things you see in pop culture that never really go out of style.
Does your person also sing?
One of the things about writing music, and the only way that I can actually be vulnerable with this many people, is to never name names. So that's like the one thing I have, where I want these songs to go out into the world and become whatever my fans want them to be. I want them to picture their ex-boyfriend, not mine. And I know there's going to be a media guessing game whenever I put out music, but that does not mean that I have to confirm or help them with it.
The name's a little provocative, but I understand what you're saying as well. Thank you so much, Taylor Swift.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Good to talk to you.